Robert Kraft, who usually does media availability in conjunction with the league meetings when they are in person, had a conference call with reporters today. And he said, among other things, that he trusts Bill Belichick's ability to build a football team. Now, drafting and developing, I don't know that I would trust that. But the first time ever we've seen the Patriots jump aggressively into free agency, having more cap space relative to the other teams than except maybe 2 or 3. I think they were third in total cap space going into this season, where the cap was about $25 million less than it would have been. Kraft signed off on it, and Belichick did it, went out there and rounded up a bunch of guys in an effort to make the team better, Charean. And as Kraft said to Peter King a couple of weeks ago, this is what the Patriots used to make fun of teams for doing, spending like this right out of the gates in free agency. And now for the first time in the era of free agency, at least under ownership by the Krafts, this is what the Patriots did.
I remember a few years ago, I talked to Robert Kraft for a story I was doing for the Super Bowl game program about their dynasty and what they were going to do post-dynasty, how they were going to keep that going. And he was convinced that because of Bill Belichick, they wouldn't have any down years, that they would just keep this dynasty going forever. That obviously didn't happen, but I was a little bit impressed with what they did last season with the roster they had, Mike. Winning 7 games with that roster was a feat. And I think they've improved the talent on the team. To me, it still goes back to the quarterback, though. I don't know what the future is at that position. I know Robert Kraft today expressed confidence in Jarrett Stidham and said, we just haven't seen enough to know. Well, I would agree with that, but you didn't make him your quarterback last year when you had a chance to, and it doesn't look like you're going to make him your quarterback this year. So I would have serious doubts about whether Jarrett Stidham is your quarterback of the future. So they still have to find that quarterback of the future, because it's probably not going to be Cam Newton, considering his age and his injury history.
Kraft addressed Cam Newton's performance last year and said, in fairness to Cam, I'm not sure he had the proper weapons around him last year. Take that, remaining members of the Patriots who were the weapons around Cam Newton last year. The boss doesn't think you were very good. Don't buy rent heading into 2021. But I think more than anything else, that COVID diagnosis screwed up Cam Newton. I thought he was solid early in the season. I was fascinated by what they were doing to develop an offense for him. Josh McDaniels using the Tebow offense that McDaniels had prepared in Denver for the inevitable ascension of Tebow to the top of the depth chart. Of course, by the time it happened, McDaniels had been fired, but he still had developed the offense for use by Tim Tebow. And Newton's a better runner, a better passer, a better everything than Tebow was. I think that COVID situation screwed everything up for Newton and in turn for the Patriots. And now you put better weapons around him. You look at the guys they've brought in, and that they won 7 games with a team that was so bad. Plenty of reason for optimism this year for the New England Patriots, Charean.
Well, Mike, we've seen these dream team scenarios. I keep going back to the Eagles in 2011 when they were supposed to have this dream team. They did this in free agency and obviously went 8-8 that season, didn't have the dream team they thought. Every time we see a team load up with free agents, it doesn't seem to work. But if it's going to work anywhere, it's going to work with Bill Belichick, right? He picked his kind of guys. Some of them have already been with the Patriots before, like Kyle Van Noy, and have come home to roost again. So if it's going to work anywhere, it's going to work in New England. And I do think they've upgraded the talent there in New England. They spent the last time I checked, it was the second most guaranteed money in the history of free agency that they had given out. And I don't know what the case is now. They may be number 1 by now. Shoot, who knows? But they spent a lot of money. We can all agree on that, and signed a lot of free agents to try to help this team win more games this season. And I think if you're the Bills, you look at them a little bit now thinking, all right, have we improved enough in the offseason to stay ahead of what the Patriots have done?
And you look at what the Dolphins are doing. You look at what the Jets may do with the presumed acquisition of Zach Wilson. AFC East, very, very good division. And I'm all in with you on the idea that Eagles team in 2011 loaded up, created expectations. The ill-advised comment by Vince Young that it's a dream team. The groans came from Philadelphia, at least from the front office, the moment he said it. But remember, in 2011, that was when free agency began in August, and there was a lot of deck shuffling that happened then. This time, at least, they've got the guys under the tent months in advance to really work it up. And I think with Bill Belichick, the more time you give him with a team, the better the team's going to be. And that's why Belichick probably hoping to get plenty of time with these guys on the field in the offseason. We'll talk more about the plan for the offseason program coming up. 7-9 was the record, as we mentioned last year, for the New England Patriots. And Robert Kraft was asked about going 7-9. How did I feel? He said, I'm not going to use the word, but it was horrible. What do we think the word was, Charean? Like, I would say would be the beginning of it. I think that would probably be my guess, because that's probably the right feeling.
I think we're live. Well, I think we're live on Sky Sports, right? So we can't say it today, Mike.
No, I don't think we're live on Sky Sports
Wednesday.
In the off season.
Oh, we're not?
Yeah,
okay.
But just during the season. I actually think we can't say it anyway. We can't say it on Peacock either. Even though I've watched plenty of shows and movies on Peacock, and the language is not PG, by the way. I don't know why we're restricted. Russell Crowe can say the F word. I can't say the F word. I got a problem with that. Who does Russell Crowe think he is? All due respect. But anyway, actually right now on Sky is the PFT Live show from today. So instead of taking us live in the afternoon, the folks at Sky got to deal with me and Sims from earlier today. So anyway, look, we both are on the same page. Patriots, compelling, interesting, a great laboratory experiment. Whatever it does, it's going to be memorable, it's going to be significant, and it's going to be fun to watch. And you throw in, on top of everything else, we haven't talked about this, the idea that extra game, hosting the Dallas Cowboys, your Cowboys this year, just another compelling moment and opportunity for the Patriots with all these new players to show what they can do. I have a feeling Cowboys at Patriots will occupy a primetime slot somewhere.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Mike. It will be on prime time, probably on NBC on Sunday Night Football, and we can all look forward to that game. And I would bet it's toward the beginning of the season rather than the end of the season, because you don't know how either one of these teams are going to shake out this year.
That's true. Don't hold back some of these games where you've got health questions with key players, because it could end up being a Monday night game that gets flexed out of Monday night to Sunday, although I don't think the flex is starting this year. I think that starts in 2023.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.